Hello, yes, it's the great and glorious Nick Dutch here yet again. I received a reply on one of my videos recently from someone who was rather concerned. The message stated what would happen if I've invoked a spirit through a bit of ritual occult work and I can't send it away again. Hold on just a moment. As a good occultist, you don't state that spirits either exist or don't exist. For to you, it doesn't matter either way. You stop caring. If you're taking the attitude that spirits really do exist, you're taking the attitude of a theist, a religious believer. As I've already pointed out, having beliefs is not good for you. If you take the attitude that spirits don't exist, then you feel that it's probably a waste of your time doing any form of ritual magic, meditation, dealing with spiritual entities and so on and so forth. So both of those attitudes are actually useless, because in both cases you have a closed mind. Either you are a devout believer in one particular doctrine, or you are a devout disbeliever in one particular doctrine. You'll lose the ability to have an open mind. Part of the reason that people actually want to have their spirits, angels, demons, gods and goddesses either existing or non-existing is because it makes life easier. It simplifies the model of the way the world works, when basically even the natural scientists don't fully understand the way that the world works. So why the hell should you, being a regular, ordinary, boring person with maybe an education but not necessarily knowing each and every single thing about the whole world? What we are doing is to try and get experience. That's all. And maybe from further experience we can then do more developmental exercises and try and create some forms of controllable ESP phenomena. But maybe we can't. It's all a question of practice and experience. As I've said before, it's very experientially driven stuff. So I know that you've been through the educational system, which has been driven by the Newtonian model of the world that says that, this is solid, therefore it's going to have this, that and the other effect. This, when it's burned, is going to have, going to create smoke. Water, when it's boiled, is going to have this, that and the other effect. We're not dealing with something that's quite that easily provable. We're not dealing with something that's quite that solid and straightforward. So we just got to be open. We got to play around. We got to use visualization. We got to use prayer, meditation, and so on and so forth. Yes, you will have some experiences which will suggest this, that, and the other about the spiritual world. The downside is to see your experience as being concrete proof of anything. Your supernatural experiences can make suggestions, but that's more or less as far as you can go. Just as the writings of other occultists are realistically just suggestions. So if you're afraid that you won't be able to get rid of a spirit, why don't you disbelieve it? Just completely disbelieve it. You'll notice that people who don't believe in anything don't tend to have things happening to them. Alright, so you start learning how to disbelieve, which is what I've been trying to persuade you to do in my other videos, if you've watched them, alright? If you're watching this video, for crying out loud, please watch all the rest of them. Alright, some of them aren't 100% driven to the argument, but most of them are. So what I'm going to do eventually is to create a playlist, and in that playlist I will have what essentially amounts to a digital grimoire, so you can go through it all and try and develop the right attitude and experiment and experience. Alright, so you may be now looking at me and thinking, okay, so this guy doesn't believe in spirits, so what the hell is he doing this for? Well, stop right there. You don't have to believe in, and you don't have to disbelieve in. You gotta have an open mind, and when I say open, that doesn't necessarily mean willing to accept any bullshit that's thrown your way. If I do a meditation and I start to feel lights coming out of my hands, great, that's wonderful. I don't then say, now I can walk on water, and I then jump out of a helicopter and then drown in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Be practical. and stop being afraid that you're going to do something karmically wrong. You're going to create some kind of like strange demon experience which is going to throw stuff around your room. One of the reasons that you might have these various fears is because some alleged occultists or some people who have religious views of various different types may have said, no, you can't do this, or you can't do that, you do that, it'll be dangerous, you do that, it'll be wrong, you do that, it'll be evil, or do this, it'll be against your karma, and all this psychological baggage has been thrown to you, probably making you a bit screwed up. Throw it away. All of it. Every single last strand of it. Chuck it away. Because all of those are absolutes which have been based upon no real evidence which can be investigated in the manner of a scientist. Alright, I'm not just talking about test tubes and scales and all the rest of it. I'm talking about the way that you're thinking and trying to analyze what's happening to you. There's lots of people who would say they're a 3rd degree of this, or a 10th degree of that, or a 33rd degree of this, or an initiate of this, that, or the other, or claim to have studied this, that, or the other, who are basically just a bunch of mad fuckers who are trying to control you and make you terrified, so you end up really, really screwed up, and they can carry on with their life, thinking that, yeah, I've really fucked him up. So, ignore this shit that's been thrown your way. These are people who've been trying to control your world. These are people who've been trying to control your reality. Do not be afraid that you're going to summon a demon that is going to plague your house. If you think like that, you've probably been watching too much Buffy the Vampire Slayer when you were stoned on pot or whatever. Just fuck it. Play about. Experiment. Experience. Enjoy. Don't come to any absolutes, and don't accept any absolutes. With a bit of time, you can start to build up your own understanding of what's really going on in the world. But even that understanding will be only a very low-resolution conceptualization of the facts of nature. You got to accept that too. You can be wrong. You can come to conclusions, and they can very easily be wrong. So eventually you reach a stance rather like mine, in which you have as close to no beliefs as is possible. And one of the other respondents on one of my videos says, yeah, well, you've got beliefs, you believe in magic. Do I? Do I? I would say that I can do meditation. I would say I can do prayer. I would say I can have an experience as a result of doing prayer and meditation. But the actual veracity of these experiences cannot be, under any circumstances, stated as an absolute truth. And if you think that they can be, you're either brainwashed or mentally ill. Alright? So try and move beyond those limitations which have been thrown upon you. Now, it's more realistic to say that under some circumstances I can create the experience of the presence of a demon, than to say under some circumstances I can then invoke a demon and it really will do my bidding. Yeah, we do seem to get results from the work we do as occultists. There are numerous models of the world as to why that can be, including that, or as I mentioned in one of my earlier videos, everything you do in your circle or temple environment could have some kind of psychic or psychological effect which can radiate out beyond the physical, and then thus to create some kind of effect. So if you're doing a ritual to summon a demon, to send the demon out to go and do stuff, it's less likely that the spirit is actually walking out on its little legs and going to do a task. It's more likely that the meaning of everything that you've done in your circle or temple area has affected something outside, and that is if it has done it at all. Just stop being a believer, lose all of the stupid ideas you've got about your religion and your beliefs, and start having more fun with it. Maybe there isn't even a point for you. In that case, don't do it. But if there is a point for you and you want to experience more and have either some really great scares or some wonderfully enlightening experiences, then go for it. Good fortune and God bless.